The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. You're giving veterans a voice today. Powered by WorkSimple, where we simplify your mission.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Lock in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for Tracer Rounds targeting veteran resources.
You wonder why life feels like chaos, like tracer rounds flying all around you? That's why I created the Tracer Rounds podcast. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I help cut through the noise and point veterans to those resources they need. Since 2023, join me.
To hear interviews with veteran artists, veteran business owners, and businesses that support veterans. Catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and MB Radio. If you miss a show, you can listen again on Wreaths Across America Radio every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Tune in to see if you are on target. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
And welcome back to the Tracer Rounds show. And this is Terry, your host. And usually I'm on a Tuesday night, but I have a special interview. So we're on a Sunday when we're live with Troy Cross. Welcome, Troy.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. You reached out to MBR because you're a singer and you had a song that you wanted us to play or asked us if we would be interested in playing, and we definitely are. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I kind of want to talk about your childhood, how you got into the music, kind of where you grew up, and what was your inspiration as you were growing up to maybe become this person you are today.
Well, I've kind of bounced around a little bit, which probably isn't too unfamiliar for military folks. But I grew up just south of Chicago in Northwest Indiana. And I lived there went through high school. And then after that, I moved down to South Florida for a short period of time. Was down there, well, not too short. I was down there for almost 20 years. That's where my wife and I had our first child, our daughter. Then we moved from there to Wisconsin. We were there for about 2-3 years. And then I moved my wife from South Florida, where she had basically lived her entire life, to Wisconsin. And she was like, when does it get warm here? So I was like, well, this is going back. So we lasted there about 2.5 years. And then we decided to come halfway back and landed in East Tennessee, and we've been here for the last 21 years, and we definitely call this home. This is where we had our second child, my son, who's now 20, and we just love this area. Very
nice. So at what point did you start singing? And what were you doing as a career prior to singing? Or is that which is your career now, singing, or is it something else?
Well, I've been singing ever since I was little, probably in church, different things like that. My first career was I was a teacher. So I did that for 7 years. And then I kind of got into the entrepreneurial world and started doing some businesses on my own. Got into real estate, where I became a real estate agent, and then could do, because those were all things that I could do in tandem with music. If I had my own thing, I could make my own hours and then leave time to create music and write music. And the majority of the time, I was just a songwriter. I wasn't necessarily an artist. So I've spent years and years and years as a songwriter, written thousands of songs, given songs to other artists. And it wasn't really until last Thanksgiving that I decided, sometimes this can be difficult to get your songs in front of other artists and get them to cut it, and I have all these songs and I really would love people to hear them because I think maybe it could mean something to them. So I decided, I'm going to go ahead and release some of this music myself. So as of last Thanksgiving, I released my very first single, and and since then until now, I've released a bunch of them. So it's been exciting. The feedback has been great. Love to see what Ultimate Sacrifice is doing, because that's a perfect example of a song that I had sitting, and I knew that it would mean something to somebody, just like it meant something to me. So it was exciting for me to get that out and let everybody hear it.
So what inspired Ultimate Sacrifice? I understand what the song's about, and everybody else will too when they hear it. But was it a particular event, or do you have family members in the military? Was there some kind of context relating to that, or was it just an overall tribute?
Well, I have family in the military. So there was that always in the back of my mind. But what really inspired it was, and this happens to songwriters all the time, you could be out and about and you could hear something and it triggers something in your mind and you write that down and you're like, oh, that would be a great song. So not this past Memorial Day, but the Memorial Day before, I was sitting in church on Sunday, and somebody got up and they were saying something in church, saying a prayer. And as they were talking and what they were saying, they said one line that really stuck with me, and it's in the chorus of the song now. They said they were willing, but they didn't want to die. And that when they said that line really hit me hard. So I wrote that down. I was like, that needs to be in a song. And then I came home that night and I wrote that entire song that night. Sometimes songs could take weeks, months. That one came out, just flowed right out of me that night. And I was able to actually do like an acoustic version of it the next day for Memorial Day, and then released it a year later for Memorial Day.
Wow. When you come up with the lyrics, how do you decide what the music around it sounds like? I mean, how do you decide the chords? How do you decide the pace? Like, how does that come about? I'm just not that creative, so I really wouldn't have that skill set, I don't think.
Sure. I mean, a song can come about a lot of different ways, and it often does. Sometimes it'll start like this one, maybe with a line or a lyric, and then maybe you'll build the rest of the lyrics of the chorus around it, and then maybe you'll try and put it to music with some chords. Usually that's what happens for me, is I'll maybe get an idea on a lyric, and then I'll try to build the chorus, put some chords to it, and then once I have the chorus, then I'll go and write the verses to go along with the chorus to kind of help tell the story, because the chorus is what kind of holds everything together and you keep coming back to it. Right. So that's typically how it works. But then other times I may just be playing my guitar, fiddling around in the studio here. And, I'll just be playing some chords. I'll be like, oh, I like that chord pattern. And then I'll say, okay, let's try and put some words to it. Or maybe you don't even start with words. Maybe you just start humming a melody and try and get a good melody to go along with the chords you're playing. And then you're like, okay, that's a good melody. Now we got to put words to go with the melody. So it could come from all kinds of different directions.
Wow. Those guitars in the background, are they vintage, or are they just guitars you use, or where'd you get those? I'm curious.
Some are. That one there on the very end is the very first guitar I ever saw. When I was a little kid, my sister got a guitar. She brought that home from the music store probably when I was, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
And I got my hands on that one. And then just kind of going down the line, they're all different. Some are older, some are newer. This one right here is the one that right there is the one that I play most when I go out and play in gigs. It's a Martin. I love it. It's kind of like my go-to, but sometimes you just want to pull a different one off the wall if you're in a different mood, and it can bring a different kind of song out of you. It's interesting how that works.
Yeah, they all sound a bit different, so you do get a different vibe when you play it, I'm sure.
For sure.
Especially people that know music would understand that better than anybody, that, just because it's a guitar doesn't mean it sounds like any other guitar.
Yeah, and it works great too because this is also my recording studio that I'm in, so I can get guitars sound different when you're recording them too. So maybe you want a different sound in a recording, so you pull the one that's appropriate off the wall to record.
That works. So we have a comment from the audience that says, "What's that one on the far end?" So maybe it's the little one he's talking about.
Oh, the little one's a mandolin.
A mandolin.
Yeah. It's hard to see that guy over there. That's a mandolin on the end.
Yeah, it is small. I wasn't sure what it was either. I just knew it was a little bit smaller than everything else.
Yeah.
Well, so I think we should just play the song so people can hear what you sent to us and why we're so proud to play it on our platform. And I think everyone else will resonate with it as well. Yeah, that's the one he was asking about. So now we'll play Ultimate Sacrifice. So we'll get on there and play it, and then we'll talk about it afterward.
Hey, it's Troy Cross, and this next song I wrote to honor all those heroes that laid down their lives so we could live ours. This is Ultimate Sacrifice. Silent storms in morning light, names etched down deep in marble white. Young and brave answer the call, quiet heroes gave their all. Not for glory, not for fame, when freedom's torch required a flame. Writing history with their lives, willing hearts and troubled tides. They were willing but didn't want to die, facing fear beneath unfriendly skies. No love greater than to lay down your life. They gave the ultimate sacrifice. Birthdays marked but never shared, empty chairs and silent prayers, folded flags that will not fly, honor that will never die. They were willing but didn't want to die, facing fear beneath unfriendly skies. No love greater than to lay down your life. They gave the ultimate sacrifice. So we gather every year. We won't let their memories disappear. They aren't just names carved into stone, but sons and daughters, flesh and bone. They gave their tomorrow for our today, so we won't forget the price they paid. They were willing but didn't want to die, facing fear beneath unfriendly skies. No love greater than to lay down your life. They gave the ultimate sacrifice. No love greater than to lay down your life. They gave the ultimate sacrifice.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And welcome back to Tracer Rounds on a Sunday. That's usually on a Tuesday. So I'm glad we have some viewers on, and they're asking or making some comments. And one of them is she's a host of the World of Conscious Positive Thinking on Mondays at 9. And she said, what I love about guitar is it can play any genre of music, which is true. I mean, a guitar is very versatile, and it can play rock, it can play ballads, it can play bluegrass, it can play jazz. I don't think there's not much it can't do, I think.
And you can take any song and play it with guitar and have it sound like any genre, really.
Well, that's true too. And she says she loves mandolin. So yeah, I'm a big guitar fan as well. I wish I could play.
Never too late.
How did you learn to play guitar?
Just self-taught, really. Just got a guitar when I was younger, and just fiddled around on it. Learned to play a couple songs. If you can learn 3 chords, you can probably play 10,000 songs with just 3 chords. So you just start with those 3, and then you'll start learning some songs, and then eventually you want to learn some more chords. But I mean, if you just want to get into it, just grab yourself a guitar, learn G, C, and D, and you'll be off to the races.
All right. What was your first song you learned?
Oh boy, that's a good question. It's probably like Country Roads by John Denver.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So that song, Ultimate Sacrifice, I mean, it really speaks to the heart of what it is to be a soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, whatever service you belong to, because it is the ultimate sacrifice if you were to pass defending your country, defending freedoms, defending the nation's people. So I appreciate that tribute because it's heartfelt. It's very meaningful. Every time I hear it, I really listen to the words. I really hear what you're saying, and it really resonates with me, and hopefully with our audience as well. So thank you for writing that.
Thank you for sharing it, and that's the reason that I wrote it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So for that one, did you have studio bands to come in and help you with all those different instruments? And what all instruments were included in that?
So if you're listening to it, you probably heard some mandolin. There's definitely mandolin in it. There's banjo in it. There's a couple different acoustic guitars, and there's upright bass, and there's actually even a little bit of fiddle in there as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of talking before the show, and you'd said that you don't necessarily travel with a band, but you have willing participants. If you need somebody, they'll come to the rescue, and all you have to do is pick up the phone and call, and they'll show up.
One of the benefits of living in East Tennessee is we have plenty of folks that are excellent at playing bluegrass instruments, which are all those ones I just named. So we just love to make music around here. So
it is the music capital, I think, Tennessee and Nashville and all that. And it's definitely full of music. It says, Troy, learning guitar, have you tried to transition to big bass or other types of string instruments? I love John Denver too, one who died too soon. Yeah, absolutely. Died too soon.
Yeah, I do play bass. I have a bass over there in the corner. So you do, I don't play upright bass, which is what you heard in that song. I have somebody come in and play upright bass, but I do play regular bass sometimes on songs if I need to do that. And then mandolin, I'll play the mandolin. I haven't learned banjo yet, but I usually kind of stick with my guitar. That's my bread and butter.
Right.
Yeah.
So who all have you sold songs to or given songs to play? And in that line of thought too, when did you learn that you had a voice and could sing? And then I know you said that you said some songs were harder to get people to cut. And so you started doing it yourself. So, I mean, you were hiding that voice for a long time. Why? That's my whole question. I know it's a lot.
When I was in my 20s, I had there was a time where I had 4 or 5 bands going at the same time.
Wow.
I lived down in South Florida, and I had a rock band, and I had a rock cover band. And then there was a point in time where swing was really popular. So I had a swing band with a 9-piece horn section, and I was the singer in all those bands.
Okay.
Then we had our daughter, and babies and gigs until 2, 3 in the morning didn't mix. So I put that career on the hook for a while until, when my daughter was like 5, she really loved music and she started writing songs. So it kind of drew me back into it. And she's an amazing songwriter in her own right and artist. So she drew me back into it. She and I have been writing songs together for a long time. And I had never really thought about, doing an artist thing until, I was like, okay, I've got too many of these songs and they aren't getting out there. I just need to do something. And in this day and age, it's so much easier than it used to be to release music. In the process of my daughter, I learned how to produce music because I've produced her music ever since she was 16 and she's 25 now. So I learned how to do everything I needed to do inside of a studio. So then I thought, okay, maybe I just need to do it for myself. I already know how to do it all, and I've got all these songs, so let's go for it, Yeah.
What kind of music does she sing? I'm curious.
She is like a pop, hip hop, Christian pop hip hop artist.
Oh wow.
Yeah, her name. She goes. Her name is Xandria Cross, Xandria Cross. Yeah, so she's on Spotify and all those places, just like I am.
That's awesome. I love that's something that you two can share, and that you share in music writing, and you just kind of share in that love of putting positive messages out there.
Yeah,
that's really neat.
It's been a blessing for sure.
Definitely. So I wanted to play another one of your songs, and then maybe you can tell us about that. So I think we'll play Shovel.
Okay.
Does that work? All right. Here we go.
I wear this cross around my neck like I got it figured out. When I stumble on a Saturday, I wrestle with my doubt. The man I want to be keeps losing to the one I try to hide. Every time I fall, I wonder, is God still on my side? If I were to look in the book of life, I think I might be right on the bubble. 'Cause it seems the only time I pray is when I'm staring down trouble. The Lord disciplines those He loves. He must love me more than double. 'Cause where I ask God to move a mountain, He gives me a shovel. There's grace enough to cover all the times I lost my way, and mercy in the morning when I fall on my knees again. Each failure is a lesson. In my weakness, He is strong. He's been holding my redemption in His hands all along. If I were to look in the book of life, I think I might be right on the bubble. 'Cause it seems the only time I pray is when I'm staring down trouble. But the Lord disciplines those He loves. He must love me more than double. 'Cause when I ask God to move a mountain, He gives me a shovel. So I'll dig through the darkness, scrape away the pain. Every blister on these hands reminds me I can change this mountain that I'm moving, one scoop at a time. It's carving out a valley where His glory's gonna shine. If I were to look in the book of life, I think it might be right on the bubble. 'Cause it seems the only time I pray is when I'm staring down trouble. The Lord disciplines those He loves. He must love me more than double. 'Cause when I ask God to move a mountain, He gives me a shovel. Yeah. Yeah,
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at nbradio.net.
I love that song. I was listening to it a couple of nights ago, and I was like, you know what? I think God gave me a couple shovels too, because I told him to move some mountains or move a tree, and he gave me a wagon to move the tree, so and a chainsaw. So I think I can resonate quite well with that song. What was the inspiration on that one?
Well, I wrote Shovel during kind of one of those tough seasons in life where your faith is being stretched and, maybe in ways that aren't comfortable.
Yeah.
And I was going through a difficult time where I felt like maybe I was facing one mountain after another, and all my prayers to God to fix everything weren't being answered the way that I hoped.
Right.
So the song kind of came out of that raw, honest place of trying to figure out exactly what it means to follow Jesus when things aren't easy. So that opening part about wearing the cross around my neck, that kind of came from a moment from looking in the mirror one morning and just, kind of sometimes you look in the mirror and you feel like you're a fraud. You're like, okay, I'm saying that I've got this symbol of faith around my neck, but inside I'm wrestling with the same doubts and failures that I've always had haunting me. And I think a lot of Christians know exactly what that feels like, kind of the disconnect between the person that we show everyone at church and the one that we know that when we're dealing with things. But the chorus, especially that line, when I ask God to move a mountain, he gives me a shovel, that came from something my wife and I always used to tell our kids all the time. They would pray that, okay, if they had something hard, expecting God to kind of magically solve their problems. And we'd explain that God usually works through partnership. And I'd tell them, look, God wants you to put in the effort first. He'll help you when you finish what you couldn't do alone, but he's not going to do for you what you could do yourself. So that little piece of parenting wisdom came right back around and hit me in the face when I found myself facing my own mountains.
Well, I mean, that's true. We have to put in the work. If we want results, we have to do our part too. We can't just sit back and expect things to happen when we're not willing to do anything to help ourselves. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's a great message. I think it resonates well with a lot of us. I know it does for me, for sure. So how would you classify your music to other people that are saying, well, what type of music do you play?
I think kind of an all-encompassing is maybe like roots music. It's got a little bit of, it's got some country, it's got some bluegrass with a lot. I like to use a lot of organic bluegrass instruments like the mandolin and the fiddle and the banjo and the upright bass, maybe some drums, maybe not drums, depending on the song. It's also, it's all very positive music. It's trying to send a good message. Some of it is faith-based. I mean, it's all faith-based, but some of it is more faith-forward. Others aren't, like songs like Ultimate Sacrifice is not necessarily faith-forward, but it's a positive message. Shovel's a little bit more faith-forward. Making a Dollar, which was one that I released recently, that one is really just about life in East Tennessee growing up, so completely different. So I think roots kind of encompasses all of that.
Definitely. So who would you say shaped your music early on? So who did you listen to that you kind of said, yeah, I want to do that?
Boy, I had a pretty wide range of music that I listened to growing up because I had an older brother and an older sister, and then my parents, and everybody kind of listened to different music. John Denver was a staple. I said that earlier. Right. But my sister and my brother, it was like the Doobie Brothers and ELO, and just it was all across the board. So I think kind of growing up listening to different kinds of music and country music, I like to take all of it and just kind of infuse it all. Like that last song, Shovel, has almost a little bit more of a little rock edge to it, along with country. So I don't mind. That's the beautiful thing about being an independent artist is, you can experiment and you can do things, do what you want to do really, and just put stuff out and see who gravitates towards it. And that's kind of the fun thing about it.
Yeah, I agree. So what's a vocal challenge you've overcome that made you stronger as a performer?
What challenge?
A challenge, vocal challenge.
Vocal challenge?
That you've overcome that made you a stronger performer.
I would say, I think the thing that definitely makes you a stronger performer is getting it out in front of people more often. So continuously getting out in front of people, early on, there were probably nerves and situations like that, and that can definitely affect your vocal performance. But I think the more comfortable you get in front of a crowd, then the easier it becomes. And I've gotten to the point where I've done enough shows where I can now just kind of get in front of a crowd and have fun and try and draw them in and bring them into the performance. So I think that's probably been the number one thing that's helped, is really just getting out there.
Yeah, being in front of a crowd, giving a talk or something is one thing, but performing music is another. And I would have to say I would have a lot of nerves around that. I mean, I'm not a performer, so I wouldn't be doing that in the first place. But I could see that would be very intimidating the first time that you're playing live for somebody. I can't imagine what that's like. So what do you have coming up, or what things are you going to be involved in the next months or years to come with your music, do you think?
Well, I'll definitely be playing a bunch of singer-songwriter shows around East Tennessee. I'm playing and teaching at the Cumberland Mountain Songwriters Festival next month. I do a regular every third Thursday of the month here in East Tennessee. I host something that I started called the Genesis Sessions, which is a Christian songwriter night. So we do that every third Thursday of the month here, where I bring in 3 other songwriters, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a Nashville style writers round is, but it's basically 4 songwriters, and you just get up and you kind of like we're doing now. You tell a little bit about the song, where it came from, the idea that it came from, and then you just play the song. And then it goes to the next songwriter and they do the same thing, and it kind of goes in a round, and you do that for a couple hours. And it's just a good, fun time of storytelling and letting people hear the stories behind the songs, and just be lifted up. Good time of fellowship, hanging out. So it's been a good time.
So do they have people just come to listen to that, or is it only performers or potential musicians that would come to something like that?
Nope, it's anybody that wants to come. So people from our church come, people from all over the area will come and listen, and other songwriters will come and listen. So it's for everybody.
Well, that's awesome. I think that would be interesting to be a fly on the wall, to just hear the music and then hear where the song was inspired or how it was inspired. I'm always curious about that because, a lot of people tell me that I've talked to that inspiration tends to hit them in their quiet moments, like when they're trying to sleep and they can't sleep. They have to get up and they either voice record whatever it is they're thinking, or they have to record it on a little notebook. They have to bring a notebook with them. So do you find that you are more inspired when things are quiet and it's the middle of the night, or are you more inspired in the morning, or what's the inspiration like for you when it comes to writing and recording music?
I'd say the inspiration for songs can come at any time. A lot of times it's you could be in the grocery store and you'll hear somebody say something as they're in the cart passing you and be like, oh, that's a good line. And I'll get my phone. I've got like a laundry list in my notes of like lines that would be great songs. So that from that standpoint, anytime. I have had woke up in the middle of the night from a dream or with an idea and wrote something down and done that before. But as far as like actually digging in and doing the actual songwriting, I'm a night owl. So it happens to me at night. So it's usually when everybody else has gone to bed, I could be up until 2-3 in the morning if I get going, because once it starts coming, you just want to keep with it until you can get to a point where you can stop. So
right, yeah, you don't want to stop the creative flow. That's
Right.
that's when I work the best too, is late at night, because when my kids were all sleeping, because otherwise it was chaos in the early years of them being in the home, and now they're all grown for the most part. But the middle, that's when I would study. That's when I would do anything I had to do. So I understand, being able to like connect with that quiet time in the evening when everyone else is kind of doing their own thing in their space. So yeah, that would be my time as well. So I completely get that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play Making a Dollar, is your newest one. So you want to tell us a little bit about the song before we play it?
Sure. So this song, I have a good friend of mine that I co-write with. And when you co-write, a lot of people don't even understand what co-writing is. But I would say when you're listening to the radio, 98% of the songs that you hear are co-written, meaning two writers or 3 or 4 have gotten together to write the song together. You listen to pop songs, you could have 20 people that are co-writers on a pop song.
Wow.
But this buddy of mine he was an author, and he's not really a songwriter, but he's a great storyteller. And he grew up here in the hills of East Tennessee. And he has the best stories from the mountains and growing up. So he'll send me stories or ideas, and I love taking those and turning them into songs. So Making a Dollar is a story about when he was basically him growing up in the mountains when he was young, and what he would do to earn money, like by going out and sitting on the creek bank and catching things to sell for bait, and how he would make $1 doing that, or other things that he would do in the hills of East Tennessee. So he and I have written quite a few songs together. A lot of them that I've released are songs that he and I have written together, and it's always just so fun to take those actual true stories of his life and turn them into songs.
Well, let's hear it. Here we go. Making a Dollar.
Just a boy waiting to be a man, making my own money any way that I can. Picking up soda bottles for a dime, trapped and shoved men will sell a dozen a time. Making $1 as a young boy, working for your own brought plenty of joy. Running my traps every day in the creek, not a shirt on my back and wading bare feet. Never had much when I was growing up. I was taught to work and not rely on luck. Always had a knack for making $1. Times were hard down in the holler. I got a whole $1 for planting the corn, made some picking up sticks after a storm. Saving my money, but what should I buy? Maybe those new metal tracks that caught my eye. Never had much when I was growing up. I was taught to work and not rely on luck. Always had a knack for making $1. Times were hard down in the holler. The folks I crossed paths with in my life, so many left a mark I'll never forget. They're the only debt that I'll never regret. Never had much when I was growing up. I was taught to work and not rely on luck. I always had a knack for making $1. Times are hard down in the holler. Never had much times are hard down in the holler.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And you're back on the Tracer Round Show with Troy Cross, and that was his song, Making a Dollar. So that song, for some reason, I hear Dukes of Hazzard. I don't know why. It has a little Dukes of Hazzard vibe to me.
That, that would make total sense. Hazard County, Kentucky is not that far from East Tennessee.
Right. And both have those type of backwoods growing up vibes too. Kentucky's a little, depends on the area you're from, obviously. Yeah. And the same with Tennessee, depends on where you're from. But there is those growing up in the backwoods of those states that's just all kinds of fun. Just kind of finding something to do out of nothing.
Yeah.
Because kids that live kind of rural, in town, you can find something to do. There's always kids to play with, that kind of thing. But when you live out in the rural areas, there's not always a lot of stimulation except for what you find for yourself. So fishing, climbing trees, hiking, right, whatever, those are all things you find to entertain yourself versus, being entertained by others. So I think that kind of growing up really lends itself to being creative.
Pre this.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we had to figure out how to entertain ourselves. Let's see, MJ said, Dukes, I thought I was crazy. She said, just some good old boys. Yeah, I just kind of heard that in there. I'm not sure, I could tell it's definitely a different song, but I just had that vibe when I heard it. I was like, yep, that sounds like the Duke boys, and they're growing up and them getting in trouble and running around, creating mayhem wherever they went.
That I hadn't thought of that, but that is very much so. If they do a remake, I'm sending them the song.
I would definitely do that. They might do something. You never know. They're always bringing these old shows back, and they're kind of reviving them or revamping them to the modern day. But you never know.
I could see it happening.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I know that what is his name? I just forgot the actor's name, the blonde one.
Schneider.
Thank you, John Snyder. He has General Lee that he has, and apparently it got misplaced at some point, and he had to go find it. Somebody took it, so I was just being kind. Somebody took it, and then he had to get it back. But so he still has a General Lee, so it could happen.
We can make it happen.
Definitely. So you said that you're going to be introducing, you're going to be in these songwriting sessions, and you're still going to be doing songwriting clinics, that type of thing. But where do you hope your music is going to go from here? Do you have any plans to market it to anybody? Or are you just planning to put it out there yourself, and then are you trying to branch outside of Tennessee with your music, or what is the intent?
I think it's probably a combination of all of those things. I'll definitely keep doing stuff around home. I've got a lot more songs than the ones that I'm releasing, so I definitely am still trying to put songs in front of other artists. I'll keep releasing songs that I think would be a good fit of the songs that I've been releasing. I basically have a year's worth ready to roll. As I keep releasing them. So probably have another one. I just released one a couple weeks ago. I should have another one coming out. I try and do it about every 6 weeks because they're already done. And that's a good amount of time in between releasing songs. So just keep doing that, keep writing new songs. I never stop writing songs. So it's like every week, we're definitely trying to write new songs. And, they're like babies, but then the new one comes along and it's like, oh, I like that one better. And then it's it's fun though. It's one of those things, like if you have a hobby or if you have something that you love doing that you can't envision yourself not doing it, that's songwriting for me. I have to do it. it's cathartic, and it's it's also, I'm a creative.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is create, something to help with healing, just writing, getting the words out there. Just, music in general, I think is healing, either if you're writing it or listening, or
Yeah.
just somebody enjoying playing an instrument and there's no words. It's just the music. So MJ's asking, do you play any Janis Joplin, asking for a friend?
I don't, but I could see that happening. I do have some of my other songwriters are female singer songwriters as well, so I could see a collab going on.
There you go. That'd be kind of cool. How many songs would you say you've written? Do you have a number that you
It's
know
well
about?
over 1,000.
Wow.
Easy, yeah.
And so some of them they're not out in the world yet. They're just written and then you're waiting to put music to them, or do they already have music to them?
Most of them have at least basic chords, not fully produced, but even, most of them at least have the chords written down so you could play it on an acoustic guitar.
Nice. So who have you gotten to meet while you're doing your music that you were like, wow, I can't believe I just got to meet that person?
Let's see, last year, from some great songwriters that I've been able to meet. Last year I met the person that wrote The Dance for Garth Brooks.
Oh yes, I love that song.
Yeah, that song's amazing. And I actually got to watch him play it, which was neat. Then I've got another person that I've been dealing with a lot, who wrote a bunch of songs for George Strait.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
the king.
So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. So it's been fun to kind of get to know him and kind of pick his brain a little bit. And we just run into different people. Run into people. I'm in East Tennessee, but we're only about 3 hours from Nashville. So you run into people over there when you go over. I'll go to Nashville and do songwriter shows over there, and I get a chance to meet people over there. And you'll bump into all kinds of people in Nashville. Nashville, unlike, from what I've heard, unlike some other places like Los Angeles, they leave people alone. It's like, it's not that big of a deal when you see somebody that's like famous. They just kind of let them be, which is, I think, why a lot of people like to move to Nashville.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I don't, I'm sure people get bothered by being bothered.
Yeah.
So much, like, hey, I know who you are. Will you take your picture with me, or
Right.
will you sign this, or whatever? Then and letting them just, be normal people,
Right.
and go out to eat and do their laundry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, do you enjoy going to Nashville and being in that space, or are you more like, no, give me the quiet and give me the peaceful Knoxville type situation?
I prefer peaceful Knoxville, East Tennessee, but I will go over there for spurts. But it's usually like, okay, got my fill, let's go back home.
Right, because you don't see yourself going there and staying and then trying to be in that space.
Yeah, no, this is home.
Nice. Well, I'm going to put your website up. Is there somewhere else that people can catch your music or find out what you're doing or find out where you are? Is that the best place, or is there somewhere?
Yeah, they can go to the website, or all of my socials are at Troy Cross Music. So you can go to, Facebook, Instagram. All the music that I've released is out on all the streaming platforms. So Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, it's out there. You can find it. But yeah, actually, if you're interested, definitely reach out to me and say hi. I would love to, get into conversation with anybody that's interested about the music or anything else that we've talked about. I'm about, the reason that I do this is for the people out there. And if they have any song ideas, if it's like, hey, I had this idea, send them my way. Maybe we can write a song about it. I'd love to do that.
Well, definitely. Operation Song is in Nashville, sorry, not Knoxville, Nashville. And they partner with songwriters to write music for veterans so that a veteran can tell their story through song, because sometimes that's the easiest way to get it out versus them having to actually tell it to you.
Yeah.
Letting someone else put some music to their story is easier, and that way the story can tell the story, the song can tell the story, instead of them having to like replay it or re-say it. And so I think you'd be a perfect fit for that since you're so close. I think maybe I can connect you to Operation Song, and maybe you can be involved in that as well, because I think that the type of music you play and write would lend itself nicely to partnering with a veteran for their story, or for something that they wanted to share, some of their feelings or whatnot.
Yeah, that would be great. I actually have met somebody else that actually does that as well, and they've told me about it, and they just say that it's amazing. And I almost to the point where I thought about doing it with my father-in-law just to go and try and do it, because he's a 96-year-old Vietnam, Korea, and he got into the very, very end, right before the end of World War II.
Oh, wow.
He was a pilot, Distinguished Flying Cross. So he's got all kinds of great stories. So he might be my first victim.
Right? Yes, I think you definitely ought to write his story, or through a song, something. It sounds like he had quite the career if he's been through all of that, and you're just the person to do it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I'll partner you up with Mike Byer, who is the Operation Song person.
Okay.
So maybe you guys can do that. But yeah, I think I'll be looking forward to hearing something about your father-in-law and about his service, because I think you're just the right person to tell his story. So I'll be definitely looking forward to that. Well, we've got probably about another 5 minutes left in this show. Is there anything else you wanted to put out, or anything I didn't ask you about that you wanted to tell us about?
I don't know. Let me think. I think we've talked about most of the stuff. The songs that are out, there's plenty more coming. So keep an eye out for those. I think the last one I put out was called Save Everybody. That one came out a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, we're just trying to be consistent about putting songs out and writing songs. And I am all about, writing what the people want. So if anyone has an idea, or if there's any topic or subject that someone feels like would be good to get out there in front of people, I am up for the challenge.
Nice. I love that. I was going to ask you another question, and now like my thought left, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. But so I really think that the way you write and the type of music that you play, it really resonates with all kinds of audiences. I don't think you have to be a fan of one genre or another in order to enjoy what you've written and the messages you relay through music. Because I think music is such a great tool to really tell people's stories, or really communicate how alike we are. Even though we think there's so many differences, there's really not as many differences as there are similarities, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all have the same basic needs, regardless of where we come from. We all do. So you writing music that kind of transcends all that, he said, she said, they said, whatever faction, whatever party, whatever people are talking about in this time that's so volatile at times. I love that your music can go past all that, and it can really speak to each one of us and really say, you know what, we're not that different. We all kind of grew up with this understanding that, we're human, and that we all make mistakes, and that we can recover from these mistakes, and that we all just need to be a little more understanding of one another, and then we can all get along.
Yeah, absolutely. And that really is a big mission with my music, is to put music and stories out within the music that transcend all of the junk out there, and let people know that, hey, we are humans, people, and we're going to make mistakes, but that's what grace is for. And this, I found this hat at a convention, and it says "Hold Fast" on it, and I love that it says "Hold Fast" and that it has the American flag on it. And when you read in Scripture about holding fast, it translates basically just to truths about humans, which is what I want to put out in my music, which is like, okay, what do we need to hold fast to? We need to hold fast to God, first and foremost. We need to hold fast to truth. And so we need to seek that truth out. We need to hold fast to hope and faith. And we need to hold fast to choosing good over evil. And those are all things that, I try to put out in my songs. Some songs may just be more fun than others and just be about that, but people need that too.
Yes.
They need to be lightened up a little bit, especially people when they cling too tightly to something. They need something to loosen their grip on it. And maybe that's a song that just changes their atmosphere a little bit. I don't know. But it's my hope that can happen with some of the songs that I put out.
Yeah, definitely. It takes us out of when you get in the wrong headspace where you're just concentrating on all the negative you're hearing, then when you hear a good some good music or a good melody or a hook that really brings you in, it kind of brings you out of that mindset and reminds you to just take a pause and don't focus on that. There's a lot more good than there is bad. And we just need to remember that instead of, listening to the news all the time and listening to what all the politicians are saying or they're not saying about what's going on. So we really need to refocus and reset and think about, okay, this is a problem for another day. Let's just enjoy life. Let's just, sit back, enjoy the music, enjoy some company and some friendships and some talking with friends versus all this negativity that's going on. So I love that you can do that with your music because it's happy music for the most part. And it just sets you in a good mindset, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sometimes you just got to turn off the news and turn on the radio.
Absolutely. I listen to the radio. Well, I listen to MBR all the time.
Right.
And so we play some really good music on MBR, and you're one of the ones that plays. So we appreciate your music. Well, Troy, it has been a pleasure having you on. I thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I really enjoy your music and I enjoy Ultimate Sacrifice. I really think it resonates with our audience, and I really appreciate you sending that to us and bringing that to our attention because it's something we feel like we can do to honor those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. So thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I really appreciate you all not only playing it, but everything that you do for the veterans. And, I can't say enough about how grateful I am to them and also how grateful I am to you about what you're doing for them. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. We appreciate you. Well, this is Tracer Round signing off.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.